Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. West Santa Clara, and everybody who really cares about what's happening on this side of town. Got to start the program this evening, with some bad news. Last weekend, Ray Gamla passed away. For those of you who didn't know Ray, everybody who knew him was a little better off. He was one of the driving forces behind the Veterans Memorial in Central Park. One of the city's dog parks is named after him. Really good guy. Was in his 90s. He had a good life, but he's passed away, and I understand the American Legion is going to put on a nice deal for him, which I think is appropriate. He was a member for years and years and years. Another thing to report on, and this one is just kind of bizarre. The city hosts a farmer's market in the downtown area one Saturday a month. Well attended. You get not only people from Santa Clara who are growing things in their backyard, but you also get people who bring things in, and you actually get some people who are just retailers. But you get a nice mix, and there's some music, and there's good food, hot chocolate, and sodas and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun. People go there and they have a good time. It's reported that last weekend, Anthony Becker, who was formerly a council member, was charged with perjury and convicted. And his husband, they're actually legally married, went to the farmer's market. And I, for one, wasn't there. I need to make that clear. This is all secondhand. Apparently, there started to be some kind of a disagreement. And of course, as always happens these days, when there's any kind of a disagreement, people pull out their cell phones and start recording. And I, again, haven't seen that footage either. I'm just telling you that it's been reported that Becker was threatening and that his husband was threatening also. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things you just kind of put in the back burner because you're never sure if you're going to hear about it again, but it was reported. Understand the police were called also. Again, I don't know. I'm working off from third-hand information here. Anyway, on to the crime report. On the 29th, the Shell station at Lawrence and Monroe, they busted a guy for failure to appear and they took him to jail. Also on the 29th, they busted a guy at the AutoZone, also for failure to appear, and he also went to jail. On the 30th, over at 909 Kylie, we had an arrest for vandalism, battery, and failure to appear. He got transported also. On the 30th, at the Mariposa Shopping Center, there was also an arrest for failure to appear. That guy got released, so I suspect it must have been misdemeanors. On the 31st, over in Sycamore Terrace, which is actually in Sunnyvale, over there off of Henderson, there was an arrest. This guy looked like he had quite the thing going on. There's now a new charge, 23102G, G as in George, for driving under the influence of both alcohol and drugs. This particular person was nailed for that, along with obstructing police work, evasion, and possession of narcotics. And of course, they transported him to jail. Over on the 31st, also at El Camino and Kylie, there was a fellow who was again driving with both drugs and alcohol. He had also possession of narcotics and paraphernalia, and he went to jail. On the 31st, over here at Kylie and Benton, there were two people arrested. It's kind of interesting. One of the people was arrested for domestic violence and animal abuse. Not quite sure what happened there. The other person was arrested for narcotics, and again, both those folks went to jail. We had a game on the 3rd that resulted in 3 arrests. Kind of a quiet day. On the 3rd, over on Sutter, southwest of here, there was an arrest for child molestation. On the 3rd, also at Pomeroy and Benton, they found a fellow who had a long list of things he had done. There were a couple of different kinds of failures to appear and obstructing and a few other things, and he got transported. Then on the 4th, I've never heard anyone charged with this before, but we had an arrest over at El Camino in San Tomas for a fellow who was making, quote, annoying 911 calls. I'm sure they don't want you to be abusing the system, but I didn't know they arrested people for it. And then on the 5th, they had an arrest for a failure to appear over at on Flora Vista. So that's it for the week. Kind of a busy week for our fellas. I did want to make sure everyone knew I wished you a happy New Year, and let's make this one a great one. Thank you. We'll see you next week.